It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This is like a TV commercial. You're looking at the cheese dripping. And here we are. It is Car Con Carne. Welcome to Friday night. That promo, lovingly rendered and pieced together by my pal Giorgio Reyes, had been just kind of this promo reel, but I figured it's like 30 seconds long. Why not make it a show intro? It looks cool, and it has guar. Guar is appropriate in every occasion. Car Con Carne, sponsored by our friends at Siren Records McHenry, 3902 Main Street. I love going to Siren. I love following them. They're on, of course, social media, Facebook.com/Siren Records McHenry. I was looking at the pictures they posted today. All the new vinyl releases to come out. There's a new Evanescence, Volbeat, the 30th anniversary vinyl release of Sonic Temple by the Cult, Hosier. Tom Petty's Into the Great Wide Open on vinyl, and Papa Roach's Greatest Hits Volume 2. They have that in stock. And I know what you're thinking. There's a Volume 2, 2 volumes of Papa Roach, the best of. You can get them at Siren Records McHenry. Love them, thank them. I thank them for sponsoring the show. My guests tonight, they are the entire band lineup of OK Cool. It is Bridget and Haley. Good evening.
We're all here.
And you're sharing a mic.
Your car is so spacious.
It's a Mazda 3. It's not terribly spacious, but here's the thing. I'm making plans to get back into it. I've gone a year of not podcasting in a car. My plan is to find fully vaccinated people to share the front seat with.
Perfect. I was going to say your car looks a lot like my apartment.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
It gets a little crowded when you bring in pizzas
Mary
and instruments.
Poppins bag or something.
It's just like Mary Poppins bag. I'm honored that you're here tonight. This is a big night for OK Cool. The new EP Surrealist came out today.
Correct.
And to celebrate, you've got a couple cold beverages and you're hanging out to talk. There we go. Cheers.
Cracking a couple cold ones with my boy.
This is the second EP in 12 months time. You put out that first EP, Anomia, in the summer of 2020, peak pandemic time. Mm-hmm. And I'm just assuming that you just kept running, like you hit your stride there and you just kept running with it. And that's why we have an EP so quickly after that one.
You know, it's so funny. It doesn't feel that quick. And I think just because like pandemic time just lasts so much longer than regular time, it really felt like a very natural progression of time for, I don't know. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think when we wrote the last one, we kind of weren't taking it as seriously. But then as soon as the pandemic hit, we had like quite a bit of time on our hands. So, I guess it felt like a lot longer of time, but it's just because everybody was home and we had nothing going on.
I want to dig into some of the music on this EP. It's another round of raw and reflective indie rock. But before we get there, a lot of us first came to know you both as the rhythm section of the Weekend Run Club. Now that we're 2 EPs into OK Cool, is the Weekend Run Club okay? Or everything all right there?
The Weekend Run Club is OK Cool.
Yes, we're okay. We've also been writing with them. It's just a little hard to do because there's a lot of people involved in that, but we've been writing over the internets and just trading demos back and forth. But yes, I mean, we're definitely still in that band. This was just a nice thing to do while everyone's waiting for the vaccine to roll out and for things to be a little bit safer for groups of people again, since we live so close to each other. And she's my friend anyway. We figured it would make some sense to still jam together and still write some music. Yeah.
I didn't know you thought we were friends.
So there's no band jealousy. I mean, the other members of Weekend Run Club aren't saying, "Oh no, that's great. No, another EP, awesome. Good luck."
They're awesome. We love them and they love us. And Mitchell, he puts out some solo stuff too. The singer of Weekend Run Club. So everybody's. I don't know. It's just a good supportive homies.
Yeah, I think in general, like, I think it's just awesome when people in bands are just able to do whatever they want all the time. Like Joey does graphic design now. He's been doing freelance graphic design since he graduated. And to me, it's like the same exact thing. It's like, you've got another thing going on and that's awesome. And I want to support it. I think like all these different things that we have going on, it just makes me feel kind of balanced. And especially considering that there are 2 different instruments that I'm kind of working with in the different groups. It just feels like a nice, well-rounded way to go about being a creative and making music.
Well, take us back to the beginning of OK Cool. At what point did the two of you decide, let's kind of splinter off and write our own songs independent of the band.
Right. So I've known Bridget, I think, for 4 years now. And we started out together in a cover band because I was looking for a guitar player and I found she had like a guitar in her profile picture. And so I hit her up and she was like, I'm not really playing guitar right now. I kind of want to focus on drums. So then when our drummer left, like a few months after that, I hit her up again and she was like, yeah, I guess I'm down. And that was like a full year later. But kind of from that moment on, like we found we had like a lot of music chemistry and it just kind of like a really tight rhythm section and it really worked out. And we kind of talked about writing on our own pretty much from the start, but it was kind of like a far away goal. It felt like, because neither of us felt confident singing or writing on our own. But then sometime
You're over that now.
Yeah, sometime last year we just kind of decided like, let's give it a shot. It's definitely scary, but once we like wrote our song Ice Skates from our last album, we just kind of fell into it a little more, and it just all feels like practice. I guess we're working on it.
It definitely feels like I think like something that I feel like a lot is like a bowl just kind of like bursting into a china shop. It doesn't belong there. It has no business being there, but it's there. And
Did you make that expression?
Yeah, I actually coined that just now. But it just feels like this kind of thing where I guess maybe just because I started out on drums, but it just feels like I'm not supposed to be here. But I think that the only solution to that is just simply embrace the uncomfortableness and say, well, I'm doing it, I guess. Like some part of me thinks that I can do this, right? So let's just try it. I think that's just what I've kind of had to live with because, like songwriting is still really hard and, we're very beginners at it and I'm totally a beginner at singing. And it's just kind of this weird, I guess, interesting experiment where we're literally just putting out each stage of our like growth out to the world. But that is what it is. And I'm glad that people can appreciate those little steps that we're making as well.
Well, it feels very raw. It feels very authentic. It feels very honest.
Thank you.
Sure. In my description for tonight's live recording, what I wrote on Facebook was lyrics resonant enough to be familiar and obtuse enough to be noncommittal. Like I kind of know what's going on, but maybe I don't.
I love that. That's definitely what I'm going for. Yeah. I don't really want to put too much on the table, at once. And I've always loved songs that have things that you can figure out or explore for yourself or, attach your own.
Yeah. You can personalize the lyrics.
Yeah.
So they're not so specific.
I like the idea of lyrics being able to mean more than one thing anyways, so I think like it's an interesting thing to walk the line between, how service level do I want to get here and how deep do I want to go here without, not acting like myself or not writing like myself. It was really interesting to kind of like, I wanted to get better at lyric writing. So I would, really read over lyrics of bands that I loved and just kind of figure out what their tone was and, how they were going about writing and looking up all these different, people that talk about the writing process and say like it's a stream of consciousness or I go somewhere and then I just like space out or like I write in a journal and then I pick out those parts. I did a lot of research because I just didn't know how to do it at all. So we tried a lot of different things. I digged up some poems that I had lying around and then I digged them up.
I wasn't going to say anything, but Haley, you're the bandmate. You can do that.
Yeah, I got to keep her in check.
Grammar police. And then sometimes we tried writing to music going in the background and seeing how that worked. And sometimes we came up with it on our own. Like there's just a bunch of different ways I realized that you can kind of branch off in order to like to create, whatever you need to do. There's a lot of different ways to go about doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of metaphor there, a lot of feelings being expressed without uttering specifics. That said, I mean, I listened to these songs on Surrealist, and it certainly seems like the pandemic helped build the vibe for these songs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a terrible thing. I think it just kind of forced everybody to look a little bit more inward. And like now that we finally have some time to kind of assess where we're at and where we want to be, I think it just allows for you to kind of like straighten your stuff up a bit more and just, focus in on what you want to get better at and what you want to keep doing.
I said it sounds raw, but this is accomplished sounding indie rock stuff. And it starts with I Should Buy a Sword. And just to stay on the themes of sadness, introspection, etc., and just the state of where things are in the world right now. I never thought I'd be so desperate for awkward human interactions and sketchy bathroom floors. That's really all we want at this point. Weird hugs.
So much. Yeah.
weird hugs, house parties where there's just questionable things going on.
Pee on the floor.
Dude,
Pee on the
just the
floor.
grossest basement show you've ever been to. Like, I would love to be back there.
Sounds amazing, right?
Yeah, like put me in a sweaty room of gross people. It smells like asbestos and mold.
So again, I'm not going to push you, Bridget, for specifics, but "Hurts to Be" sounds like a really uncomfortable relationship song.
It's about your relationship with yourself, actually. It's definitely not about anybody in particular. It's very much introspective song, as are most of them. And I guess like I was just kind of it is kind of something that has a lot of different layers, but it's just kind of about this strange intimacy of being alone and like how that can make you feel like in a pandemic when you're alone a lot more than you used to be. Because I think that when we're able to go to all these shows and we're able to spend so much time with people, it's very easy to kind of take a backseat to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can
sure.
kind of just like be socializing all the time. But when you're alone, you know, after a while you realize I am my own company right now, and that's kind of scary. Yeah. So that was just kind of something I was thinking about for that one.
And then at the end of the album, there's Divers, which is a recently released single as well. It seems to end the album on another sad note, but this definitely strikes me as a very self-aware song.
Oh my gosh, I love these words you're using. Yeah, that's definitely stuff that I wanted to go for, was authentic and self-aware, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I love this line. You swim in the deep end with me, and I try not to say I'm sorry. And though we won't end up working out, I tread in the water for a minute. That's self-awareness right there.
Thank you.
So
it's very sweet of you. Thank you.
So looking at the pandemic from a glass half full perspective, because really, why the fuck not at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, you were able to put out 2 EPs. So yeah, it sucked that you couldn't play out, but what a fantastic moment for you two to come together and find your groove in this project, so that when you do emerge in this post-vaccination age we're stampeding toward,
Yeah, we're getting close.
You'll be ready.
Yeah.
You'll really have it kind of figured out musically.
Yeah, I mean, when we started writing the last one, it was, I think, like January and February. So by the time it was like getting ready to get put out, like all our first shows and stuff like that got canceled. But we were like right on the cusp of not being a pandemic band. But I don't think, like, without the pandemic, we definitely wouldn't have made Surrealist what it is. And it definitely at least would have taken more time.
And what does it feel like today to finally have it out there and people consuming it?
It's exciting. It's weird. It's like with music, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize goes on kind of behind the scenes in terms of like marketing and, you know, recording. Like this process takes months and months. So for it to finally be out there is like really cool, but also really weird because I've known it for a while, you know?
Yeah.
But it's rewarding, and people have been really nice. So it means a lot.
Oh my gosh, James, I tweeted it at Laura Jane Grace, and she actually listened to it and sent me a nice comment. Like I was unwell after that.
See, that's the internet as a force for good.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you can build community with people like Laura Jane Grace.
Yeah. That was like that just happened today. So honestly, I'm still reeling from it, but that was absolutely insane.
Now, for people who haven't heard Okay Cool, this is the hardest part of doing a podcast, in that I can't play music. I can't share. I mean, I'm talking about music, but because of the way copyright law works,
It's so stupid. Yeah,
it's so stupid. I can't share music on the podcast. So I would say to someone who maybe grew up in the 90s, Okay Cool is going to work for you. It's going to sound like all that cool shit you saw, the Double Door and Empty Bottle back in the day. Everyone else, this is the sound of authentic, heartfelt music. I love it. I think you struck a nerve. Nice job.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Haley. Sorry.
No, we took some influence from like a lot of that 90s stuff and a lot of stuff that's on like KQX in general, like the oldies. There's
The oldies. Stop. This interview's over.
Not
this
oldies, but you know, KQX has like their old brand and then their like new branded alt stuff. So you know, the older stuff on KQX is what I'm saying. But yeah, there's a good amount of that in there, and then also just like alternative bands of today. And I think we were really going for just like a garage kind of DIY sound and feel.
I knew there would come a day where that stuff I played on KQX back in the 90s, Nine Inch Nails, etc., would be to the next generation what Dion and Elvis were to my generation. And here we are. Holy shit.
I mean, I wasn't born until 97, so.
Okay.
I'm a 2000s baby myself.
Shut up.
I'm not.
Me too. All right. So, okay, cool. The new EP, it's you can listen to it on Bandcamp. In fact, I would recommend, even though it came out today, go buy it next Friday because that's the next Bandcamp day, I believe.
Yes. Wait it out.
When all the royalties go directly to the artist. I love Bandcamp Day. I think it's a wonderful thing.
I like they do it so often now. That's really nice.
It is. I mean, for the right reason, but yeah, wow. I love it too. It's such an important thing. So next, you can listen to it now on Bandcamp, but buy it on Bandcamp next Friday so that these two talented artists get all the proceeds.
All that cash money.
I mean, I know you're already wealthy from Spotify, but there's extra money to be made on Bandcamp.
I'm running out of room to put my money, honestly.
Dude, they're so wealthy. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, that Miller Lite is just stuff you had lying around. You've got the good stuff.
Yeah, it reminds us of the good old days when we were
It reminds you of the struggle. That's a very Midwestern thing about you. That's your
Keeps us
Midwestern
humble
ethic.
with all our wealth.
All right. Okay, cool. The new EP is Surrealist. We can listen to it now. It sounds great. And thank you for spending release night talking about it here on Carco and Carne.
Thank you for talking to us.
Our pleasure.